Oh, I was going to say, I pay 100 euro a month for my food. I'm on a pensione, which is 12. I get 1,200. I took it early for my social security.
Hmm.
And since I own my house, I can't spend the 1,200 a month.
So you live under 1,200 a month
I
in
live on
in
1,200
Tuscany.
in Tuscany, and that's a guarantee.
Okay, so today we are heading over to the beautiful country of Italy with my new paisan, Matthew Nagan. So
Almost
my
said,
yeah, so my new paisan, Matthew Nagan. Matthew, thanks for doing the podcast.
oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I'm
So Matthews, yeah, you got a great story, man. I found you through YouTube, and you got this website, you got this place called Casa Zio, which we're going to get to in a minute. But Matthew, tell us a little bit about, first of all, tell us a little bit about your backstory. Most importantly, why did you leave the U.S. for Italy? Why did you
well.
do that? And yeah, go
That's
start there.
okay. That's kind of a long story because it dates back to I was telling you on the when we talked before. As I was an iron worker in Minnesota with my brothers, and having to do it in the wintertime, and I was 20 years old. I got fed up, and I really didn't want to go to college. But I always enjoyed cooking, and I would make sandwiches and bring them down and sell them to the guys because my food was better than their food. And so I get on the bus and I go downtown Minneapolis, and the last job I had was the Pillsbury Towers. That's the last job I did with connecting steel with my older brother. And I got done. I looked at him and I looked at my brothers. I said, I'm finished with this. And they laughed at me and they said, oh, no, you'll come back. And I said, no, I'm not coming back. And I quit. And then I went to culinary school in Minnesota, and that gave me the basics of how many ounces to a pie dough, make soups, all this kind of stuff. I was still intrigued. I still wanted more,
Hmm.
and I ended up at the Culinary Institute out in Hyde Park, New York, and from 84 to 86, 84 to 86. And after I graduated, I sent resumes over to London, had job offers in London. And after that, me and my girlfriend toured Europe in the wintertime, which I really didn't care because we're from Minnesota. And we were all around. We were in Austria and Switzerland and France. And back then, it was just everyone. I mean, I couldn't believe how nice everyone was,
Yeah.
And came through Italy. We did come through Italy. We came down the mountain from Milan, and then we cut back around and went through uh, Switzerland, and then we ended up. That was like a 3 month journey, and then we came back to America. And I was like, okay, well I'll wait for my permit from La Gravache, which were the famous Roux brothers. And but my love for Europe always was there. I mean,
Hmm.
it was always. I love the people. I love the culture. I love the history. So I just couldn't get that out of my mind. My sister said, "Hey, guess what? Our friend Doris and her husband moved over to Lucca. Why don't you take a break, brother, and go and relax for a month because you deserve it?"
Hmm.
So I flew to Lucca. I called her. I said, "Is it okay if I come and stay?" She says, "Yeah, there's nobody here in July and August because it's so hot. Most people come in September, October.
Hmm.
So how hot it is. I want to come over." So when I came there, I met a Chef Lido Martini, and his restaurant was just right up the hill, Petrignano. They live in Tolferi, and then it's outside of Lucca, up in the hills, on the way to Florence.
Okay.
So when you look at all these little hillsides, and it's actually kind of cool because you go, God, who lives up there? Number one, how
Yeah.
many villages? How many villages are there from Lucca all the way past Pistoia to Florence?
Yeah.
And these were day trips that I would go out and find little restaurants once I came here, but I would come back and forth every once I met Lido and I worked 3 months. every 4 months, I would go back and forth like a ping pong ball.
Hmm.
And then finally, I got fed up with my restaurant and I sold it. I was in Sonoma and I sold that February 3rd, 2020, right before Corona.
Hmm.
And then I came over here and then I met the consul general and he told me, he says, well, what you can do is you have to do an elective visa. So if you want to do that, fill out the paperwork. I'll give you the paperwork, which was very nice. I got really lucky because it was the coronavirus, and he says we don't want to see you. I go, oh, okay. I like that even better. Don't even come to the consul. Send everything to us, and we'll let you know when it's done. So meanwhile, I'm thinking, gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going like this.
Hmm.
I have what, 9 months, 6, 9 months, depending on the stack of paperwork that they have to do but they to get things done. But they got it executed 7 months, and
Hmm.
so I left and I came over to Luca, and I had my house at that point because we already had Casa Zio that you can look behind me, and it's a beautiful place in San Gennaro. And so I had to go to the Questura and to apply for my permesso di soggiorno. And so I filled out all the paperwork. You have to give them financial information, and but they had 3/4 of that from the consul general. So I had to submit that. And then on top of it, I just for, you know, just for the hell of it, I was in Sonoma and I said, you know what? Get me an FBI background check just in case. Because if you're a felon, you can't get anywhere. And I'm
Yeah.
not a felon, but I just thought if there's anything in there, I can grab it first. But more information you can give another government, the faster everything goes through.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it only costs what, $100,
Yeah.
and but I put all that together, and so when I got here, they already had certain information, and then it took. Italy's so funny. It took 9 months to get my first permesso, and so
Hmm.
once I got it, so that was like say October. So let's just say October 1st, we sent it in. I don't get the call to go back to the Questura until like July 1st.
Hmm.
I said, oh, so they're going to start it in July. No, they started in October. You get your permesso. So meanwhile, you're still there. It's no problem. And now you have to go back to the post and get your Renuovo package and have that filled out so you're ready to go by September to send it back down to Rome.
Hmm.
And this has happened. I'm on my third year. It happened again because in March, now they're 2 months ahead because it was July before. Now it's March. I was telling you, I went down to the Côte d'Azur. I did the Costa del Sol. I went to Portugal because I wanted to see. I'm like a curious George. I wanted to see, is Spain better than Italy? Is kind of everyone talks about Faro. I see a lot of places. YouTube, come to Portugal, come to Portugal. So I thought the only way I can do it, off season #1 is great because there's no one on the road and there's no one on the beaches and there's no one anywhere. And 5-star hotels are $50.
Hmm.
So you really can't go wrong. But at least I got to see everything. But
Yeah.
by the time San Sebastian, I get an email from the Questura. They said, you have a Saturday. This is on a Thursday. They said, you have an appuntamento, Sábado 11, 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Hmm.
I just sat and I was just walking around San Sebastian just laughing. Like, it could not get any classic. It's classic. And so I jumped in my car the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I made it back to Luke at 10 o'clock at night straight. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, went down to the Questura, gave them all grabbed my new one. I got my new one. Now I'm waiting for, we go for my next one, and hopefully that'll last 5 years. So
Okay. Well, let's
Yeah, and hope.
so that's that you're talking about the visa. You submitted all the documentation to obtain, is it residency or
It was
citizen?
in the first visa. I'm sorry, I was speaking fast. It was called an elective visa,
Okay.
and that was just for my just to come and stay and live and relax as a retired person.
Okay.
And
And do you know what the qualifications are for that, for the retirees that are looking, that want to move to Tuscany, or what they would need to have as far as a minimum income pension to get there?
what I can tell you what I submitted,
Okay.
and it passed.
Okay.
And so it's yes, if you're retired, if all you guys are retired, or if you need some help or anything like that, I'm always here. And it's a great channel and it really helps out. The thing is you want to get an if you're retired, you want to get an elective visa.
Hmm.
And you want to prove to the Italian government that you're not going to be on their dime. And
Hmm.
so that's what they want to know. So meanwhile, what I had is I already had my house. And some people I heard on other channels where you have to have a place of residence before you have to put in your um, for your permesso. I
Hmm.
didn't have because we already had a place here,
Okay.
and so that's another thing I'm doing for people is if they want, they can come and stay for some long term 9 months rentals at my place and get help that way.
Hmm.
But otherwise, what I had is I just sent in my Merrill Lynch account, and at the time it was, let's just call it 500K, and I sent in um, my health stuff that I had here,
Hmm.
and that's about it. I filled out their forms, and when I got back over here, they everything was accepted right away.
Hmm.
Uh, my attorney told me, it'd be nice, Matthew, if you could go. Why don't you get a bank account to prove the Italian people that you have, say, 20 grand in a local bank account? Well,
Hmm.
his wife is the manager of a local bank account, so I go see the wife, and I get all hooked up there. And then that's what I did the second time. Well, actually, the first time I told you I put in my Coinbase, and I'm not even going to send in my Coinbase now because they don't need it. They just if you got 500K or your investments and whatever you have in, say, savings accounts or your 401K or anything like that. I didn't have a 401K. I'm a chef. All I
Hmm.
had, what I had coming from, my land and moving, and so that wasn't a problem, and it hasn't been for 3 years. And they're, I think their main thing is they just want to make sure you can come and be on your own here, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
And I've never really crossed another hurdle, um, other than that. And that's what I told you before I sent in. I'll do a different. Last year, I paid for. We talked about the health insurance in Italy,
Yes.
so I got that. What is this card? Here's the card. Here is the sanitary. This is your sanitary card where you can go. A year ago, it was 485 euro. I paid 2,000 euro. This is the new one. You can also go to Zurich
Hmm.
uh, Insurance and say, okay, I'm sending in mine next month, so I'm doing 1,600. So that'll
Yeah.
be 500 euro cheaper than the other one.
Yeah, let's back up a little bit so that we could
Okay.
kind of help people understand where we're at. So we're going into healthcare now.
Okay.
And Matthew, you have an identification that you just held up, and that's your ID card for your healthcare.
Yeah, this is Repubblica Italiani Tessera Sanitaria. They give
Okay.
you when you go to the comune. So
Okay.
we're in the province, we're in Lucca, but our comune is Campanari.
Okay.
So you can't go to Lucca for this. You have to go to Campanari.
Okay.
And that's where, after you have this, I know that I just want to get sidetracked for just one quick second. Guys, once you do your permeso and you receive the permeso, once you go through one full year and a half cycle, you go back to the commune and you say, hey, am I a resident now?
Mm-hmm.
And then they give you a resident card. Now you got a resident card.
Okay.
Now you got your permeso di soggiorno, and your resident card will put your electric 50% cheaper
Oh, nice.
easily.
What's the last card you held up there?
Okay, here's one here. This is the permeso.
Okay. And explain what that is, the permeso.
The permeso is once you have your elective visa
Mm-hmm.
and you put all this stuff in your packet, and you go take 4 photos. You go take 4 photos. You have to include one in here in your packet
Yep.
to go to the post office. You have to go get a little bolo to put on, and then after that, it's the same every year. So nothing's going to change, you
Mm.
know. And so after that's the permeso, and then they gave me my Italian ID card that I take with me on trains, planes, and automobiles.
Okay, that's like your license in the US.
No, no, the Partente is different. That's
Oh,
another.
okay.
That's another Santo Cristo. Your ID card you can take with you. This just tells you who you are. I never carry my passport anymore. I haven't carried a passport in 3 years.
Okay.
You have your permeso and you have your ID card. That's all you need.
That's all you okay.
Yeah, and then once you get your residency, so once you get you do the insurance. I only did it because the lady recommended it, and she goes, I can do this for you right now. And I said, pronti per me, bellissima. So that's right away for me. I don't care. I can afford it. Let's do it. Not only that, but it gives me a year to figure out, should I go get insurance in Zurich? That my attorney said, hey, he's my friend. And I said, okay. I said, Franco, next year let's try the Zurich for 1,600, which is pretty much the same as what you're going to get in Italy.
Hey Matthew, when you say Zurich, what is that, an insurance company in Italy, or are you referring to Switzerland?
Let's see. Here's my form here. So there's one which is 2,000, and then there's another one that's 1,600 I have. So this is the Zurich Medicare. There it is right here, boss. See that?
Okay. And
Zurich.
That's out of Italy?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, especially car insurance is with Alliance, which is out of, I think, France or somewhere. But
Okay.
Zurich out of Italy, but I think it's a Swiss company.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna do this one in September. I'm gonna do the 1,600.
Okay, so
So
when you say 1,600, is that 1,600 per year for
per year, 1,600 per year versus the 2,100 euro per year for the Italian system.
Okay, so that's really very affordable compared to U.S. Prices to cover for healthcare, the coverage for healthcare.
Oh,
It's incredibly affordable.
when I was out in Massachusetts, I walked out and I slipped on rock and I fell on my shoulder and my lower back and hip. Well, I had like a golf ball back there and I could hardly walk. I mean, it was really brutal
Yeah.
for 5 months. I come over to Italy and it goes up and it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Excuse me. And so I went to the doctor and I walked in and I said, hey, I need to have some X-rays done. And I said, and io paga, I will pay.
Hmm.
And sure, come on in. So they took 3 X-rays, and she said, come back tomorrow. And I went back the next day. It was in a beautiful folder. I mean, we're talking 4-color folder. You get a scanned disc, and you had small photos of the X-rays. $65. I said, you can pay for the healthcare here cash for
Yeah.
most,
Sure.
for
Sure.
most. All the little incidentals, why not just go in and say, hey, and I do it all the time if I need something really. You go to the dentist, pay the guy, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not that expensive. So if you look at 1,600, how much is that a month? You know,
Hmm.
and it's not that much. It's
Yeah.
125 months, say.
Yeah.
And my electric bill is $50 a month. My cell bill on my cell is $12 a month for my iPhone.
Nice. That's great, man.
Don't cry. Don't start crying on me. Okay,
That's
it's
great.
not too
Well,
bad over here. This
let's
we got.
go. Let's back up here a little bit because I want to ask you, like a lot of people that view the Italian videos, there's when they're exploring Italy, they're exploring Italy as an option to retire or live in, even buy a home like you did.
Right.
So, so how did you pick Tuscany of all of the regions? And what makes Tuscany an ideal area of Italy to purchase and live in your opinion?
Well, my opinion, like I said before, my older sister Margaret's friends were here. So when I came, I already was outside of Lucca, which is we're northern Tuscany. And, I don't know. It
Well,
was,
why don't we do it this way? Why don't I say, what do you find that makes Tuscany so incredibly attractive and special to live or retiring?
well, I think the people make your journey. I think the people make your destination. I think the food is the Tuscan food. Actually, when I was in culinary school, I read all about Katrina de' Medici and what she did for the Tuscan people, and what was so important for her that it was a separate language. Because when you hear the Tuscans, they slur.
Hmm.
So Deci, Dec is 10 in Rome, Dieci is Lucchese.
Hmm.
So they really have developed their own language, and not, well, their own style of the dialect, which
Hmm.
is really really important. And so I like that, and I love Florence. I love Bologna. So I'm right in the middle. We're a triangle. I got Pisa half hour away. I got Florence 40 minutes away. I got an hour over to Bologna, hour and 20, depending on how I drive.
Hmm.
Uh, you got Parma, go back this way towards Genoa. Genoa is an hour and 15 minutes. France border is an hour and a half. Hour and 45 minutes is the Côte d'Azur. Wow. So, you think about it, it's close. And I wanted, Rome was a little too big. I didn't really want to, I was in New York. I was in Minneapolis. I was in San Francisco. It was time to kind of get up, get out into, you know, just some small, not a ton of people, but there's enough people and enough driving around where I'm close to the ocean. I'm close to all the mountains that surround.
Hmm.
And a lot of it is when you drive and do you're driving during the week. It is really it's really spectacular. It's
Yeah.
really not.
Yeah.
And I think that's what drove me here. And then after meeting my friends, I thought, well, gosh, I'm developing a good sense of community, and the
Hmm.
community is good. I mean, there was just a little beer festival up at the church.
Hmm.
We all go up there, and then there's the sagras that happen at all the churches in June, July, August, September, and I mean, they're kids running around. All the kids are serving food,
Hmm.
and you want, that's my bottle of wine. Okay, that's for you. And the husbands take all the trash and recycle, and the kids deliver the foods. and all the husbands clear all the plates. It is just amazing. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, man, that's
That's
awesome.
why I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of people too that are watching this and they're going to say, how do I find a house like Matthew found? And we'll talk about Casa Zio in a minute here. But many people are looking all the time about purchasing property in Italy. Tuscany is one of those top regions where many people want to live, want to buy. What can you share about how do you find, you know, housing over there and how do you find the deals in Europe, from what you've learned and you've been over there for a while, what can you share with the viewers?
Okay, guys, listen, you got to listen up. Hope you had your coffee, okay? Because what you have to do, what I suggest is you come over like I've done. You bring your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't, whoever. You come over here, you get a place to stay for a month or two, and you do what I did. Because I could say, Garfagnana, well, I could get you a house in Garfagnana for 40,000 euro, no problem. Garfagnana is an hour up to the mountain out of Lucca.
Okay.
Oh, the girl that just won, she didn't win Wimbledon, but she came so close. Passini, she is from Bani to Lucca. And that's only a half hour out of Lucca on your way up to Garfagnana.
Okay.
That's where that is. So then I could say, okay, well, I mean, if people come here and they want to day drive or cruise around, that's another thing I do for people.
Yeah.
And so I, okay, let's look at this. But yeah, we can go when it's nice and sunny. But I tell people, you want to go in the morning and you want to go at night and you want to see the kind, so you can see the illumination of light. It's very, for me, it's very important because now, because, okay, say someone says, well, we never checked the garage or we never checked the cantina. Now, come on, that's your fault. You bought it now. And so you don't know if it's mold. You don't know if you need whatever you need down below because you're going to be carved into the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of things to go. And then another thing is get the feel of the town. Do you really like the feel of Lucca? Do you like walking around the wall? Look at Bani de Lucca, that's only a half hour away. Or do you want to be Pietrasanta? You go up on top of the mountain and you drop down and you're on Forte de Marmi, Vireggio, Forte de Marmi, where all the soccer players and all the stars hang out. Mm-hmm. And so these are just actually, it's a 2-3 hour journey. Mm-hmm. And most people don't know. Some people come here and they're going to go to the marble caves, which I say, bravo. You guys are doing something that everyone should do. But a lot of people don't. But if people want to come over and do that, then you cruise around. You go to Pistoia, which is on the way to Florence. Mm-hmm. You go to Montecatini, which I kind of don't suggest. That can be private messages. Mm-hmm. And then Pistoia is really nice, and all the way to Florence and all those places up on the hill. So my suggestion is you come over, you start looking. There's a lot of places, and everybody thinks, oh, Tuscany is so expensive. It's not. Mm-hmm. My lunch, as I told you before when we chatted, my pranzo di lavoro is $10, 10 bucks. Well, now I got it down to $8 because I don't take a pasta. Mm-hmm. So you can have a pasta, a prima, a secondo, vino, bianco, cafe, $11 every day.
That includes that glass of wine.
Yes. Nice. And but you do it a couple times to get out, or you go to a Pranzo di Lavoro to see, oh, I've driven by this place. I drove by a place for 10 years and I told the people, I said, I was so sorry. And now I go there twice a week.
Yeah.
And the food is absolutely, it's fantastic.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Simple. I mean, but a whole plate of tortelli for €7.
What's the name of this place?
Massini.
Massini.
Massini, and it's on Via Europa, and it's really kind of cool because in America, when you see a truck stop, here's another thing, you guys. When you see a truck stop in Italy, you go in
Gotcha.
because that means the food is off the charts. It's great.
Nice.
It means
Interesting.
really.
Wow.
And another thing, my old Italian girlfriend, it would drive her crazy when we'd be walking around. We were up in Bani de Luca one time, and another thing is I walked up to these guys on the road, and I said, "Dove mangiare? Where do you work?" It's my Anthony Bourdain when he says, "Ask a taxi driver. Where do
Mhm.
you?" Right? I
That's
think
right.
you come over here and you ask these people, you know what? Where do you go?
Yes.
And I have I have never been let down in 18. I bought the house in 2007.
Yeah.
And so it's been, it's a long time coming back and forth,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Well,
And
let's back
so,
up a little bit, Matthew,
yeah,
about so we started off by talking about you mentioned there's housing that you could find starting at 45,000
yes. Yeah.
and in and around Tuscany. I mean, what do those properties look like? I mean, how many bedrooms typically do you get? Are those attached houses? Are they, you know,
There's one right down the hill from me that I went to see the guy, and it's 75,000 euro. Beautiful stone.
hmm
Bedroom, living room, dining room, kitchen, a little underhang. You could easily put in some cool grills. There's only one neighbor next to it that just repainted his house beautiful yellow. So there's just right on a little curve. It's not busy. It's our road going up to San Gennaro. And then if you go right, if I go to Colodi, which I'm going to go the other way, or this house is this way, there's another one that tucks back that has a beautiful view. Beautiful view. I'm sure it's only maybe a bedroom and a half, outdoor back area that has the view of the whole valley. Better view than my house. So I
hmm
was kind of jealous. So I thought, well, maybe I could sell my house. I'll buy this little house, and that's perfect for me.
Yeah.
As long as I barbecue out back, and have friends over, put a banana, you know. But people, there are places around. Lucca, yes, it's going to be expensive. Florence, very expensive. Around Florence, expensive.
Yeah.
But put it this way, I go to Florence once every other month.
hmm
And I've been in, now we have, I can drive. They just opened up, they have the tram that people now you can get off in Florence Airport. You get out of the tram takes you to the train station.
hmm
So parking area there that's €1 per day.
Yeah.
So I park there for €1 a day if I'm going to go travel to Sicily or somewhere else. And
hmm
I use Florence as my base, or you park for €1 a day, and you pay €1.50, and I go all the way down to the train station. Still got my Train Italia app. I walk in, I book my flight to go see Chef Max in Rome, and I jump on the fast train. I'm in Rome in an hour and a half. I'm up in Milano in an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's the one wonderful aspect of living in Europe. Let's talk about your Casa Zio. This place that you created in Tuscany. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that. You're this creative guy. You bought this house, you renovated this house. And
Yep.
so you bought it, you renovated it, and it's available to people who want to come
Who
over
wanted?
and
Yeah,
actually explore
I'm kind of looking
Tuscany.
up. We just wanted, to create a cool place. I wanted a kitchen that was big because in the United States, when you have parties, you might as well knock down the dining room wall and make the dining room, kitchen, and your outdoor patio one whole space because that's your thoroughfare. And so that's what I wanted here. I've got an outdoor terrazza that is open, comes into here, open kitchen, dining room. I do cooking classes here with two chefs, and that's what I wanted to make it and to make it really nice. It's very upscale. We kind of took my back stairs and made it where kind of LA meets Tuscany,
Yeah.
And so it depends on people. But what I suggest to people that come over here, don't do what I did. Seriously, don't. It's right now, there's not enough workers to get the work done. And if you do, you might pay a little bit more. Okay. But I would highly suggest pay a little bit more so you can enjoy why you are coming here.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to work 12 hours a day for another couple of years? I can understand if it's a kitchen or something, if you want to do a small renovation, it's fine. I do not suggest a big renovation at all. I don't suggest it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
way too much. It's a lot of money. It's a lot
Yeah.
of money. And Italians, sorry, but they're going to take advantage of you. I had a guy that did some weed whacking in my back. He did 3 hours, comes like 4 days later, does another couple hours, comes back, said to me today, 1,500 euro.
Wow.
I'm still in shock.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I have to have a come to Jesus with him tomorrow. But I just thought, man, I'm not going to get excited about it right now. I'm just going to let it go. I took a nap. I woke up and dealing with you, talking with you, great conversation. But these are things that people have to realize.
Yeah.
Anytime you're going to have something done, unless you unless you know the people, or if you do, you want to make sure, even if it's a company, if they come out and fix an air conditioner or something like that, you get the guarantee for a year. It might
Mm-hmm.
cost a $200 more, but you get the guarantee, and that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
and if you,
let's back up because I want you to share a little bit about what is um Casa Zio. I want you to explain what Casa Zio is, how large it is, and give an approximate about what something like that would cost today in Tuscany, and then what people would pay on tax per year. Because what you mentioned is very true. The taxes on homes in the United States are astronomical today. So I want you to share with them what people are paying for tax on an Italian home. But tell us at first, I want you to break down what is Casa Zio? What is it for the people
okay,
that don't
Zio,
know? And we're going to show your website and everything, but I
oh,
want
thank
you
you.
to
Thank you.
explain. Yeah.
Zio in Italiani means uncles. So Zio is uncle, Zia is aunt and uncle. And
Hmm.
so I have 35 nieces and nephews in my family. So that means Casa Zio. Zio.
Hmm.
So I have my niece coming next week with her 12-year-old son to learn how to make pasta with my chef friend Lido, and so they're excited. So it's a place where, after I croak, that this will be for the young children. Whoever, there are a couple of young kids that are really into cooking, so maybe one of them would want to have it. It's up to them. If they don't sell it, who cares? The taxes. Once I got my residency, my taxes on the house were 800 a year. Once I got my residency, and I have a little commercial lease guy down the street that takes care of me paying the tax to the bank. He goes, Mateo, hey, he says, here's your finale. I said, finale, yeah. I don't pay tax anymore because I'm a resident. So my taxes are done paid.
So
When
nobody
you,
pays tax once you become a resident.
yep, yep. I haven't. I talked to him. I said, what do you think? I said, I'll like keep going through every year, talking, every 6 months. When you do buy a house, you pay a one-time tax.
Okay.
When you pay a one-time tax. So say I go buy a house in Lucca, say it's a 500,000. So I don't know, 5%,
Okay.
5%, 500,000, 3%. I don't know that yet because I
Mhm.
haven't found a place. I haven't gotten there yet. I have to wait till October, and then I can start looking now, but why get excited about something that you can't have?
Yeah, sure.
I don't
Okay.
want to do it. But after that, and when you're a resident, that means your electricity bill comes down. So when you get your first electric bill, you're gonna
Yeah.
Don't worry, it will come down. And the less electric you use, we've got a pretty intense in-floor heating and air conditioning system.
Hmm.
So in January, February, 1 year was €750. And now I've got it down to, in those months, 200. So now this year, I'm not even going to stay here. I'm turning everything off, and I'm going to go to Cartagena probably, or
Wow.
Morocco. And found
Sure.
a young kid from Morocco I just met the other day down at my little Angry Dog bar that's down the hill, where I have another set of friends on this side. Then I got another set of pals down on this side, and he's
Really?
been here for 35 years. And he goes, I got a house in Marrakesh, and if you want to go, stay with me. That's how friendly people are.
Yeah. No, I know. It's really wonderful. That those are two very different places, Cartagena and Marrakesh.
Well, Cartagena, España, in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I went there in March, and I actually, out of all the places, I did not like Marbella. Puerto Banos was okay, still a lot of people. Then you get away, Malacca and Cartagena, I thought was nice, really nice.
Mm.
Little more down key,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
and people great, people really nice.
Well, I got one other question for you.
You got it. Shoot.
Tell the people, what is the most important thing you've learned as an expat that you feel any future retirees and expats moving abroad need to know?
Oh, Dio. Oh, Dio. My God. Oh, Dio Bono. Oh, gosh.
What do you think one of the key things is that you've learned living abroad that would be important for everybody thinking about moving abroad?
Really look and pay attention to everything first, from everything that has transpired. I jumped into this house on a whim, and I'm really not close to a train line. So what happens, for example, if I don't pass this test, right? So what I can say is just try to do as much due diligence as you possibly can, and think about everything. Have someone write down numbers, do a spreadsheet, do everything you possibly can. So then you can look, because once you do get here, it is wonderful. I mean, it really is. And as far as regrets, I don't have any. I mean, I don't have any, except for maybe a couple little mistakes I've done in the house.
Mm,
But other than that, you have to just keep your wits up, and really take big a big look. For me, I wasn't afraid to do it.
hmm.
Some people are afraid of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
I'm never afraid of the unknown. Geez, I travel by myself. I go everywhere. I'm jumping in, jumping off. I'm cruising in. I just don't have that fear.
Yeah.
I would rather stop at a coffee shop, meet a guy like you with the hat on, and say, "Hola,"
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're going out for lunch.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you have that openness also. That you have to have the openness. You do have to, say hello to everybody. I think that's all I can probably try to tell people, that's what's important, is just make sure all your eggs are in, all the ducks are in a row. Make sure you have everything. And actually, is it really something you want to do? Get the fantasy aspect out of it. Your first year is going to be really critical. It's very hard. But if you made it through COVID, you can make it over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really, and plus, I worked in France for 2 years. Nothing against them. Nothing against them at all. But I am happier in Italy versus where I was in France. And that is like, the Italians are a lot more friendly. They're there. You can talk to them, blah, blah, blah. And I think is right now, at this stage, everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah.
traveled a little bit, and people can travel, go to Lisbon, see how much it costs there. Don't look at photos. You can look at photos, but you got to do the walk. You really have to get out there and do the walk, and that's the only way how you're going to really get that feeling. It's kind of like having a wonderful plate of carbonara. Well, if you're enjoying that plate of carbonara so much, and you're going through these small little towns, you're getting the sense, and you're smelling things, and you're experiencing things, and those are your basis of what it's going to be like down the road.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
bigger the town, the more difficult it's going to be because
Mm-hmm.
there's more people.
Yeah.
But you can see people as towns aren't that big. Towns are not that big. So trust me, everybody knows everybody too. From here, I mean, the whole mountainside, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So, keep an open mind. That's another thing. Keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you just want to come here, get your little place, connect with expats, then that's different. But if you really want to get into the community, show that you want to get in the community and talk to everybody. And you know what? Down the road, I told the woman, I said, have faith. And
Mm-hmm.
down the road, you'll meet a woman, you're going to meet another lady, or you'll meet another lady. And you know what? But if you don't, no one's going to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do it. You got to do it. And that's what's important. But other than that, it's not too bad of life over here, guys. I was glasses of wine. Oh, a spritzer. You can go from a spritzer, one bar is €3 to another bar that'll be €5. A glass of white wine, €3, €4. White wine the same. There's farmers places where farmers markets. You're gonna go get a bag of groceries, €12 for a bag. We're talking a bag that's heavy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot. Actually, it just hands down. Oh, I was going to say, I pay €100 a month for my food. I'm on a pensione, which is 12. I get 1,200. I took it early for my Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And since I own my house, I can't spend the 1,200 a month.
So you live under 1,200 a month
I
in
live on
in
1,200
Tuscany.
in Tuscany, and that's a guarantee.
Wow. You live in
Yep.
the dream, my friend.
It's not, it's all how you make it as
Could,
well.
could we both live on that 1,200 if I move in?
Absolutely.
Matthew, let me ask you this. I mean, for people like you mentioned, and I think it's really important for anybody that is interested in living over there, moving over there, purchasing property, you said stay for a period of time. Come and stay for a month or two. Where can they stay? I mean, do you offer that at
I
cost?
offer monthly rentals for people to, and depends on what their schedule is. So if you're going to be a ping pong ball and want to go from here to Venice to Rome, get another place. If you're here really to come and check out towns and really do your due diligence, whether you want to be in Garfagnana, Pietrasanta, Bani de Luca, Lamadi, then you come over, you can rent it for a month. I can take you around. We have the notaio. So you go through a notaio, you go through Avogado, and which is a lawyer, and you go through the realtor. In some places, could be no realtor.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to have no realtor because my lawyer can do the same thing. In fact, he put everything in Italian and translated it to me. And now the lawyers cost $5,000. And I said, no, I'm not paying $5,000 or 3,000. I don't know how many years ago. And I said, no, you translate to me. You're my friend. I don't even let's forget about that one. So yeah, people come over and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you offer, okay, if they stay with you, do you offer like cooking classes?
We do cooking classes, absolutely.
Oh,
My kitchen, when they see the kitchen, it is awesome. Make pasta every day, everything. It's great. It's
okay.
really good. It's a lot of fun. It's great. You can walk the hillsides at night. You can just go out for strolls, come back. It's when you look at where I am, it's actually really nice. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, Matthew Nagan, thank you so much today for taking the time to share all this
You're,
info.
you're welcome. It was really good, and I hope people feel better about doing certain things, but it depends on them. But I hope I hope it helps you guys out there that are thinking about coming over to Italy and wanting to live here, and don't be afraid because it is pretty spectacular.
All right.
Tutto tutto speculare. And I will stay in touch with you, my friend.
Yeah, sounds good, buddy, for sure.
Oh,
All right, so I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Matthew.
sounds great. Have a great week, okay?
You too.